Òṣogbo rẹ̀ tán ayé máa bínú, bàbá ayé máa sún mi o. Òṣogbo rẹ̀ tán ayé máa bínú, bàbá ayé máa sún mi o. Ẹ̀rù ń bà mí, aráyé burú. Àyà ń fò bí ènìyàn ò sunwọ̀n. Òṣogbo rẹ̀ tán ayé máa bínú, bàbá fọ̀rọ̀ bí ẹ̀rù. Kòkó ń ṣe ṣú ẹnìkan gbọ́. Ọ̀pọ̀ wa ń gúnyán òkìkí ń kàn ó. Bàbá má ṣe gbà wọ́n láàyè. Iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ má bàa dìbàjẹ́ o. Òṣogbo rẹ̀ tán ayé máa bínú. Bàbá ọ̀rọ̀ ayé máa sú mi o. Òṣogbo rẹ̀ tán ayé máa bínú, bàbá ọ̀rọ̀ ayé máa sú mi o. Ẹ̀rù ń bà mí, aráyé burú. Àyà ń fò bí ènìyàn ò sunwọ̀n. Òṣogbo rẹ̀ tán ayé máa bínú, bàbá ọ̀rọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ń lẹ́ni bí ó bàbá ní o gbọ́dọ̀ padà lẹ́yìn ẹni ní o. Akúnlẹ̀ àyànpín lọ́rùn àyànmọ́ ò papọ̀ o. Bí mo ti yan tèmi, bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ló yan tiẹ̀. Ìpín mi ni mò ń lò, kí ni mo dẹ̀ ṣe. Wọ́n fẹjọ́ yìí sùn. Wọ́n fẹjọ́ yìí sọ lọ́rùn tó rán mi níṣẹ́ o. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi gbé mi lékè, ṣe bí rẹ̀ ló rán mi níṣẹ́. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi gbé mi níjà, owó rẹ̀. Àròjà o, Olùṣègùn. Àròjà o, Olùṣègùn. Wá gbé mi níjà o, ọ̀tá ló yí mi ká o. Àròjà o, Olùṣègùn. Àròjà o, Olùṣègùn. Wá gbé mi níjà o, ọ̀tá ló yí mi ká o. Àròjà o, Olùṣègùn. Gbé mi níjà o, ọ̀tá ló. Okay, thank you so very much, Barbara, for that wonderful music. I'm here again to discuss with you. My name is Victor Olaore Omaseyin, and I am your Oma Ilaje Ayemafugi. I am seriously the Oma Ilaje Omoro, Oma Olugbo of Ugbo, Oma Oromaki, Oma Oromakija, Oma Oromaki Osangongon, Ọmọ Ìlàjẹ Àgọ́mọ́ní agbénọkànhẹwà agbénòrìjẹ ọdún tó pa. Èmi náà ni ọmọ awẹ̀ búlẹ́búlẹ́ kó gbòrí má mọ̀ páwa ń bọ̀ àwa rèé. Èmi ni ọmọ àròmọ́ní agbénọkànhẹwà agbénòrìjẹ ọdún tó pa. Agbé orí omi ṣoge agbénọjọ́ ọdún pa owó wálé. Àwa ni ọmọ akówó náà akẹ́rù náà kọ̀ bóyìnbó ròkun, ọmọ olúgbò àhọ̀nẹ, ọmọ àjàgàjìgà, ọmọ àfọ̀máfòre tó bẹ̀ kárùfẹ̀, tọ̀rọ̀màkìjà, ọmọ ọ̀rọ̀màkín, ọmọ àtòwúrọ̀ kùtùkùtù jágbe mẹ́rú, ọmọ lẹ́bí ló tan, ọmọ àlàwọ̀ lùgbò. Àwa náà ni ọmọ olówó dóbìnrin Ọ̀yọ́, aṣàlẹ̀jẹ̀jẹ̀ bọ́nẹ̀ nóbìnrin, ọmọ àdòwó náà gọ̀dọ̀ róbìnrin tù. Àwa náà ni ọmọ ìlàjẹ òmùrò, ìlàjẹ abóyìnbó ṣòwò má pàdánù. Àwa rèé ọmọ ìlàjẹ, àwa rèé ọmọ olúgbò, ọmọ alájẹ wẹ̀ búlẹ́búlẹ́ jogbori màmá o, jogbori màmá bá wá mi wá o, àwa rèé o. Thank you so very much, guys. Today is another important day for every one of us, and I'm going to be talking about important. In fact, all the time I've been talking, it has always been an important discussion. So I want to talk about immigration and importance of immigration and why countries really want immigrants in their countries. I mean, developed countries anyway. Why developed countries all over the world want immigrants. Thank you so very much, everyone coming online. Thank you, Jegede. If you love the content of this video, you can go ahead and share it with friends with different platforms that you belong to. I think it's going to be giving an advantage to one or two people. So today I want to talk about why countries want immigrants, especially developed countries in the world. Why do they continuously want immigrants to come into their country? But before I go into that, I'm also going to be talking about the immigration history. Who are the people that started immigration or migrating from one country to another, and why is it important to everybody? Now, you know that in the history, even back to the Bible, you understand that the first immigrant was Cain. You know, when Cain and Abel had issues in the Bible, in the book of Genesis chapter 4 verse 16, Cain killed Abel, and then God casted Cain out of the sight, out of the presence of man. But of course, Cain was supposed to be a wanderer in the land, and he had to move out of the sight of both Adam and Eve. So he was the first immigrant who migrated out of his father's country because of the atrocity he committed. So he actually went on exile. So that was how Cain went away. So Cain was the first immigrant in the history of the Bible. So if we also go deep into the Bible, most times we make reference to Abraham. Abraham is another immigrant that was commanded by God. You know, Abraham had a position in his father's house, and in the country was a very prominent person. But God asked him, said, Abraham, you need to stand up and go to a land, leave your father's country, go to a country that I'm going to tell you to stay. And Abraham listened to God's commandment, and then he decided to go. You can see more around this in the book of Genesis chapter 12 verse 1 to 20. But Abraham did not just move to migrate to another country alone by himself. He went with his wife Sarah. He went with his cousin Lot. He went with the slaves he had. He went with the animals he had. He migrated with his whole family. So Abraham started moving from one place to another. Of course, he moved to Egypt. You know, he first moved to Canaan, and he moved to Egypt and also back to Canaan, which is the land that God has promised that he's going to settle down to. And you know that Lot himself migrated to another part of Jordan, in the plain land of Jordan, which is where you have the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where Lot settled with his family. So migration is an old history, and it has a lot of value to mankind, to the development of every country, every neighborhood, every society in the world. And if you see, when Abraham got married and had his own wife and his children, when he had, I think when he had Agai first, which was the slave maid of Sarah. So after Agai gave birth to a baby, Ishmael. Something happened between Sarah and Hagar, and Sarah had to instruct Abraham to send Hagar out of the land. So Hagar became another refuge who sojourned in the land. She had to move out along with Ishmael. They had to migrate and leave that land where Abraham and Sarah dwelled. So the same thing applied when when Sarah gave birth to Isaac, and Isaac needed to get a wife. Abraham commanded Isaac and said, "You need to go back to my father's country and get married." So they traveled down to the country of Abraham, where Abraham moved out from, to go get married to bring Rebekah, and got married to Rebekah. The same thing when Isaac gave birth to Esau and Jacob. Both of them, Jacob had to go back to the country of Abraham to get married to his wife, Rachel. So all of these things are the journey, the history of immigrants, which is very important for every one of us to understand. So you should not continue to nurse the fear of migration, like you want to leave. And a lot of people have this fear, like, I can't leave my father's house. Your father gave birth to you in the village. Your father was giving birth to you in the village. Your grandfather was giving birth to you in the village, gave birth to your father, got married. Your father got married in his father's house, got married to you and to his wife, gave birth to you. And then you're also growing up and you're becoming a man, and you're also having this fear that, no, I'm not going to travel anywhere. I can't even go to Lagos. I can't leave the village. I can't even go to Abuja or Port Harcourt. I'm afraid. I don't have family. I don't have people. So migration is something that God command, like Abraham, being a first child. He said, leave your father's house and I'm going to make you father of all nations. All the promises that happened, and Abraham left. If Abraham never left his father's country, all the promises and the covenant God had with him wouldn't come to fulfillment. So that we should understand why immigration is very important to anybody. So immigration, like we've always heard about the story of Oduduwa, that is being referred to as the father of Yoruba land. He also migrated from Mecca. From the history, he wasn't like an original Yoruba man from Ile-Ife, no, but he was a migrant from another country, and then he had to travel with his maid and everything down to the country Ile-Ife, where you have the Yorubas, and then with all the influence of the knowledge and the experience he had, bringing it back to the country that he formed along with the people that became an Ife unite. That made Ife to be very strong, and that was how he became the Yoruba divine king that is being celebrated in ages for over 900 years in the history. But according to the tradition, he became like the first Oni of Ife, or the Oni of Ife. But of course, we know that there are other people who have been in Ife before Oduduwa came. So when you are migrating to another country or another state, or you are living, you are relocating from one state to another, you are going to learn a lot of knowledge, you are going to learn a lot of wisdom, you are going to learn new things, and you are going to also be able to impart the community that you are traveling to, or the country you are traveling to, with more knowledge and more wisdom, just like the way Oduduwa brought those westernization and the advancement and the technology that they brought from Mecca down to Ile-Ife. Because if you see this Asho Kente that they used to do in Yoruba land, I mean, Adire, Ofi, Asho Oke, all of those things, Yorubas have an idea of how to do these things, but they don't really have a super idea of how to transform those things and make it more quality. So when Oduduwa came, part of the technology Oduduwa brought to the land was how to develop those clothes, how to make it more the knitting that the people are doing, how to do all of those things. So he actually transformed the city, the Ile-Ife. So when immigrants migrate from one country to the other, they add value to the system, they add value to the country, and they also give benefits to the country where they are living. So I'm going to be talking about the benefits of immigration to yourself as an individual who is planning to migrate, and to the country, the host country that you are migrating to, and of course the original country where you are living. So for you, let's start with you as an individual. If you are migrating, you are going to be having a political freedom. If you go to other country, for instance, there are people who migrated because of political differences. And if you are migrating to other country, you have a political freedom. Like you have a right to associate yourself, because we know that most times when Oduduwa left Mecca because there was a religious rift, there was an issue with religion. He doesn't believe in the religion of the people in Mecca. He wasn't a Muslim. He doesn't want to be a Muslim. He's a traditionalist. And in Mecca, it was like there was a war for people to be converted to Islam. And he had to leave because he believes in his own goddess or the idol that he worships and all of that. So as a traditionalist, he had to leave. So he had to fight for his own religious freedom. That was why he left. And of course, Abraham also was commanded, according to the history we learned in the Bible, that Abraham also had a different belief system from that is being practiced by his father. And God asked him to leave that country and then continue to move until he gets to Canaan land. So immigration is a long history, and it's very important to the development of the world. And this country, the whole world is evolving around immigration. Look at when Jacob got his wife. Jacob had he went back to Padan in Aram. In Genesis chapter 28, he had to get married to Rachel. But before then, even Rachel's younger sister, elder sister, was given to Jacob. He had to marry both of them. They had children. And when Rachel had a child, the last child, or second to the last child, which was Joseph, Jacob loved Joseph so much out of all the 12 children that they got. But because of all the jealousy, the enviness, and all the coup that was being plotted against Joseph, Joseph was sold as a slave, the same way other people have been sold as a slave to other land. And we saw that for him moving from one housemaster's house to the other, he landed in Egypt and in the Pharaoh's palace. And what happened to him? Because of the knowledge he has, the gift that God has given to him, the wisdom, the interpretation of visions, and all the capacity he has within him, he was able to outshine every other person in the land in Egypt, and then he became the minister. So with that, because he became like a citizen of Egypt, he was able to give, like, his family were able to come down to migrate to Egypt, and through those 12 tribes of Israel, which are the children of Jacob, every other members of Israel, because of famine, the household of Jacob had to migrate down to Egypt. And so that's immigration, and that's how people move around. So for you could have your political freedom, both your religious freedom, if you move to countries like Europe, especially UK, Canada, United States of America, wouldn't tell you that you have to be a Muslim or you have to be a Christian. There's nobody forcing you to worship any god. It's a freedom land. It's a land or a country where people are free to do the religion that they want to do. Whatever religion you choose to do, you practice your religion, and nobody's going to force you. And nobody's going to come attack you or kill you because you are a Christian or you are a Muslim or you decide to worship idol. So that's for one reason why people sojourn or people travel from one country or migrate to another. Another one is you could have your political liberty, like I've said. You could also have your better economic advancement for you as an individual. You have a better economic advancement to yourself. We have seen that, like, even in the history in United States of America, you see that immigrants are part of the richest people in history in United States. In fact, all the people that formed so many companies that all of us are enjoying today, they are immigrants. Okay, they are immigrants. The owner of Google, for instance, is an immigrant who come to United States of America, and today they are able to do something to the country. Not only do something, but they were able to create the best company, the most amazing, employment opportunities to the country. And all of these things are something that we need to also look at. Okay, so many other people like that are immigrants who have moved to other countries and they've been blessed. If you see the history of Jacob, even Isaac, all of the children of Israel, when they migrate from one place to another, they are always blessed than the people in the land. Jacob was blessed in the household of Laban. the father of Raquel, that's his father-in-law, he had so much money, so much wealth. His animals were times two, always getting blessed. Then, in fact, and with that, there was a lot of envy on him. So when you are an immigrant, you are definitely going to be blessed. God is going to bless you. Why? Because you are going to work hard. You are going to work more hard than, other people who are residents. So let's look at the richest people, like some of the top 5 richest immigrants in United States of America. For instance, we know that there's a particular immigrant, Sangebrin. Many of us may not know who Sangebrin is, but he's the richest man on the list with a net worth of about $47.5 billion. He's on the list of Forbes magazine, and is an immigrant from Russia who migrated to United States of America, and is currently the president of the public holding company that owns Google. That's Alphabet. So this you may not know. And all over the world, people search information from Google. They own that monopoly. Like, they are a very big information search engine that whatever you're looking for all over the world, just put it in that Google, you get the information you need. So he's a rich man, a very rich man, but of course he co-founded this organization and is over $47.5 billion in net worth. That is as at 2018. So he's an immigrant. God always bless immigrants. Thomas Butterfly is also from Hungary, and his net worth is about $20.3 billion. He migrated from other countries to United States of America, and of course, he also co-founded Interactive Brokers. That's a company that serves investors that come into the United States of America. So these are people that are doing great people, great men. There's another person, Len Blavenik, who migrated from Soviet Union. After moving to the United States of America, he owned a master's degree in computer science, and then he was able to found Access Industry, which is located in New York City, and that company is in billions of dollars in net worth. And for him, as one of the founder, is over $20.2 billion rich. So there's also this particular company that everybody, in fact, this company is crashing the stock market. The company is crashing the stock market since the beginning of COVID-19. This company is producing electronic car that doesn't need fuel to run, to power. This company is known as Tesla. It's not only the electronic company we have in the United States or in other countries, even Canada, UK, they are all producing. There are electronic companies that are producing cars that are going to be electronically charged. And this car, you can just you can recharge the battery of the car, and you can move in miles, like thousands of miles before you can recharge. But this man, Elon Musk, to my surprise, is from South Africa. This man is from South Africa. He was, a South Africa-born immigrant, and then he taught himself in computer programming at the age of 12. And for us, he's the owner of Tesla. And do you know what? Right now, as of 2018, his net worth was over $19.9 billion. But right now, I will tell you, because from the beginning of the lockdown of COVID-19 in 2020, Tesla has been crashing the stock exchange. The price of the stock of his company moved from like $200, moved to above $2,800, even up to $3,000. They had to split the shares into 4, and despite they splitted it into 4, it's also rising. Right now, it's approaching 700, if not more than 700, and definitely before the end of the year, it's going to go like up to $1,000. So he is an immigrant. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't see a reason why people should be afraid, because God always have a way of blessing immigrants. You can see in the history of Nigeria, when we have Ghanaians who are coming into the country, and in Nigeria, they do a lot of jobs, and they are always very blessed, because some of the jobs that Nigerians cannot do, you will see immigrants doing it. You will see Ghanaians doing it. They are the one selling food, cooking jollof rice, hawking it, selling it on their head. They started all of those things because we cannot do some of those things. Thank you so very much, Visionary Olatunde Vicky. I appreciate you, sir. God bless you for the wonderful job you're doing. So And if you migrate as well, you have opportunity to high standard of education. Migrating from Nigeria to any country in the world, I think is going to be better off, apart from some other countries that are bad than Nigeria. If you migrate to some other countries like in Europe, you are going to have a better educational system. In fact, your children as well will have access to good educational system, because like you can have your BSc in less than 4 years. You can actually finish your masters, everything in together in 5 years. But I've seen students in Nigeria who have never graduated out of the university in 6 years. They've never even finished their first degree. Why? Too much of ASU strike. There's too much of junior protests and so many other things that affect the educational system. So if you want a better life for yourself, better life for your children, better life for your family, then you need to think smart and see what you can do. Even if you are in a particular state, for instance, and you are thinking of giving your family a better life, why not try to relocate to another state who you think which you think that is going to be better off? Like if you are in Oshogbo, you can think of migrating down to Lagos, or migrate to Oyo State or Abuja or Port Harcourt. I mean, there are places where you can have a better life rather than getting stuck in the same position. We have a lot of people who really do not want to live where they are. Their father's house, they've been in their father's house for ages and they still want to get married. In fact, I've seen people who got married in their father's house and they still remain in their father's house, and they have children in their father's house. Their children are also growing up, and when their children also get married, they are still living in that. This is madness, because I don't see anybody you want to take as a model or as a role model. Even in the biblical reference, I've told you about Abraham migrating. I've told you about Cain migrating, the first immigrant. I've told you about Jacob, he migrated as well, he was moving. I've told you about Joseph, the children of Israelites, and every other persons that are doing wonderfully well. They all migrated from one place to the other. So they leave one country to the other and they are blessed by God. So don't be afraid. I know a lot of my friends from Rivers State, for instance, they hardly travel. And I don't know why Rivers indigene don't want to travel. Like, they hardly leave their state. Like, they cannot even leave their state to go to Lagos and live. They rather go back home. Why? Because there's oil in their land. Sorry, there's oil in their land, but that oil in your land belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. It doesn't belong to you. And that's why you see a lot of time that the police or the government are sending task force to come and arrest people who are doing illegal bunkering, and you can end up your life in jail. You can end up your life in jail. But apart from that, a lot of people who go to do bunkering, like they go to scope oil or petroleum products in the pipeline or the burst pipeline. You see, when incidents happen or accidents, a lot of them die. Yes, it's a real madness. It's really a real madness. And back in Lagos, there's a particular community that is close to the pipeline, and then you see when people go there to scope. I've been to one community, and when I got to the community, I saw a lot of houses that were scanty. There were no people in the houses. The only people you see are old people, old women, old women just lying down, sitting down outside, and little children running around the street. I'm not seeing age productive young people. And I asked question, what is happening? Why is this town like this? And they said, well, in this town, there is a pipeline that is close to the community. And then everybody in the community, young people, including boys and girls, they always go to burst the pipe to scope petroleum fuel. And then when an accident happens, the accident, destroy a lot of them. And so many of them died. So, and such incidents happen like every year. But they still refuse to learn any lesson from it. They always go back there to the pipeline, bust the pipeline, get petrol, because they want to see quick money. And when they get this quick money, this is their life, this is death, and they can die in that process. So I see no reason why anybody should do such things, thinking that I don't want to leave my father's land, there's petroleum pipeline passing here, I can bust and make money. You can die. And your generation can die as well, because there are families who have lost like 3, 4, 5 brothers or family together in the same pipeline, and they all died. So why not migrate if you think that there's a kind of charm that is attracting you to that pipeline? So it's not a good thing. So when you migrate as well, you can have a better healthcare system. I have a friend who lives in one country, and my friend had a cancer. She's a lady, she has a cancer, and I was very pitiful. Like, I I was considering the cost implication of the treatment because, of course, the chronic disease that require a lot of investment. You know, in Nigeria, if you have cancer, you need to sell like your fortune. You sell your land, your car, your housing, every investment you have, you need to catch it out in order to be on chemotherapy and all of those things. It doesn't happen like that in other countries, in other advanced countries. So this lady told me, yeah, it's not a big deal. She doesn't need to sell her house or her car or anything because the government is going to pay for all her treatment. And the government actually, and they gave her first class treatment. And you know what? She actually overcame the cancer and she fight it, and now she's a survivor of cancer. That wouldn't happen in Nigeria. That wouldn't happen in most countries in Africa because the health system is porous and little things kill people. Because a lot of people don't even have access to get diagnosed on time to know if they have a cancer from the early stage and start treating it. Because she was lucky because she was able to diagnose on time. She was able to discover that she has cancer on time, and the government was responsible for the treatment. And of course, today she's a survivor and she can be able to educate women and talk about her experience. But we have a lot of women in Nigeria who have died of cancer, and not only dying of cancer, but a lot of them lose their fortune because of the cost implication of treatment. Our government is irresponsible. And for me, I think even if you have HIV, you have any chronic disease in your life, and you are in Africa, aside from countries that are very responsive, you can migrate to countries that can give you a better opportunity to live your life and be fine. You know, there are stories from people in South Africa that have survived HIV for like 20 years, 25 years. And I've seen Magic Johnson in the United States surviving HIV for over 30 years. There are other people like that who have survived for so long. But how many do we have in Nigeria that can tell testimony of a long-time survivor? People die just like chicken. And we have the House of Rep member, the member of parliament, the senators, you know, going home with millions of naira every month, when we don't have good healthcare system. Even when you have malaria in Nigeria, for instance, you have malaria, you need to bring out money from your pocket. If you don't have, I lost a cousin of mine to typhoid. You know, he had typhoid, and in just less than a week, the boy died. He was in the hospital, he was diagnosed, but it has become so chronic, and you know, I mean, the hospital wasn't the best standard hospital, and the treatment he got wasn't maybe the best treatment he could have gotten. But I tell you that very few people die of malaria or typhoid in United States or in UK or in Canada. Those are not diseases or sickness that kill people anymore. But in Nigeria, malaria still kill people. People still die of malaria on a daily basis. There was a time I was in I live with my uncle at Yanosashi, and then we used to have this young man who was a mechanic, and then we go to the same church, and certain time this guy started developing migraine. You know, there's this headache that they call migraine. So he started developing migraine, and you know, every time he used to have this headache, and at a point in time, this guy died. I never believed migraine, like headache, can kill people, but it does. And that is in Nigeria. A lot of that happens there. So if you think about healthcare system and how you can assess healthcare system yourself and your family, migration could be a better way right now, because for the reason that you need to have a better life, and for your children. Yes, malaria and typhoid even kill faster in Nigeria than HIV, than cancer and others. Why? Because many countries don't even have record of malaria. Like if they have malaria, hey, it's going to be like there's fire on the mountain. They will be running everywhere. But our healthcare system is very porous. Our healthcare system is very porous. You know that in Nigeria, tuberculosis is also a very big issue. People get infected with tuberculosis on a daily basis, and there's multi-drug resistance tuberculosis. Why? Because our surveillance is very poor, and our healthcare response to some of those epidemics, it's nonchalant. Like our attitude, our approach is, I don't care. Look at the way we are managing COVID-19 in Nigeria. Look at the way the government, they can continue to do their own show, their own events, organize things even without respecting social distance. You can see evidence of all of that in the campaign, in the elections, the state elections, and all of those things that happen. But still, COVID-19 is here, and it's still there. And you know, despite United States of America have one of the highest COVID-19 in the world, the system here is very standard that everybody can have access to COVID-19 testing. Continuously, you can have access to get tested over and over without paying a dime. But in Nigeria, right now, so many people need to pay money. You want to travel, you have to pay money for COVID-19 testing. And that is the same approach we applied to HIV. That was why we had one of the highest number of HIV cases in the world, aside from South Africa. Why? Because we make people pay money to get tested for HIV. When you apply those money, that's not the best epidemiological response. When you attach money, people will just, those who didn't have access to, those who didn't have money, they will sit at home, they will sit in their house, and they're not going to get tested until, and at the point, if they are positive without knowing, they will continue to be the time bomb, infecting other people, transmitting the virus unconsciously because they are not aware and they are not on treatment. So it's not the best way to fight the epidemic. If you really want to fight COVID-19 or reduce COVID-19, everybody should have access to COVID-19 testing, and it should be free. And in fact, it should be continuous access, like 2 weeks, every month, people should get tested. And that is what is happening here. I can decide to go test today. I can go back next tomorrow and get tested. It's going to be free access. I'm not going to pay a dime for it. So now, COVID-19. Yes, thank you very much, Vicky. So I have actually outlined some of those benefits. So for you, you are also going to be able to fight poverty, because majorly all of the people that have migrated out of the country or any country, they are better off. They are always blessed because they work hard. And like you see in the United States of America, for instance, immigrants do the job that citizens of United States wouldn't do. Like United States citizens wouldn't want to do some cleaning jobs or CNA jobs, like nursing assistants, helping people in the home, taking care of elderly ones, old people. They wouldn't do it, but immigrants are the ones doing it. You have a lot of immigrants, the Mexicans, the Spanish people, the Africans, Ghanaians, Liberian, Jamaican, Nigerians. All of those people are the one you find in the nursing home. They are the one you find in the bar. They are the one you find attending to people in the restaurants. They are the one you find in the transportation industry, running Uber on the street, the Lyft on the streets, running the transportation, working with the DHL, working with USPIS and all of those people. So you see immigrants doing a lot of job that citizens wouldn't want to do. Let me take you back to Lagos. In Lagos, so many years back and even up to now, you see there's a particular job we call shoe shiner. You see those malam that used to do shoe shine, they carry their small box on the head, they move. You see them a lot, maybe even in Abuja as well, you see them a lot moving around the city. What are they doing? They just want to shine your shoe, and then they collect 10 naira, they shine your shoe, they put the money in their pocket, they go back to the... These are the jobs that our boys wouldn't do. Our Lagos boys, they would rather want to sit at home and be begging people for money. They will be begging people for money, asking for money, or doing, we are lazy because we are in our father's land. And it's not unnatural. Of course, it's the same way everywhere. If you are living in your father's country, in your father's home, in your neighborhood, in the city where you are grown, where you were born, you cannot do shoe shiner. You can't do it. Let me bust your bubble. Some of those malam that are doing shoe shiner, they have 2 wives back in the north. But they will continue to do this little work, and they make a lot of money, and they go back to their state, and they continue to support their family and improve their own life. By so doing, they are reducing poverty, and they are not going to end up being an armed robber or trying to do 419 or kidnap people, but they are looking for a legal way to make ends meet. And by so doing, they do shoe shine. Okay, there are other people who call Obiakpo. Those people that carry the head of a sewing machine, a Jikani shop, a Jikani tailor or something like that. They call them that name in Lagos. So a lot of them migrate from, or they relocate from their state down to Lagos, because they don't know anybody. Their family is not there. So ojo leti won láti gbé orí machine sejika, and they are moving. So when you have your boxers that is torn, you can give it to them. They'll sew it. Your singlet, your pants, any torn clothes, singlet, cotton, they sew it very neatly, and they get their money. They put in their pocket. They are going back to their village at the end of the year in December, and they make so much money to support their family. But you cannot do it because you are living in your father's land. It's not only because you are lazy. It's because if you do it, a lot of people will be looking at you like, omo ya sule, omo she shoeshiner. So that's why immigration is very important, because when you migrate, you can do any dirty job without looking back, and you make your money. Okay, so people make their money by doing dirty job. When Jacob went to marry Rachel, he had to serve his father-in-law for maybe I think it's about 4 years. He had to serve the father-in-law, being the shepherds to the chiefs, Undairo, Kakiri, for some years. But at the end of this service, that is the way they pay bride price in those days. Instead of Laban giving Jacob Rachel, he gave Jacob the elder sister, because in the tradition in history, the elder sister is not supposed to be at home while the younger sister is getting married. Kodabi is sinting got to yipada. So when he paid the bride price, they just gave the elder sister and said, that's the person, she needs to get married first. So Jacob was like, no, I'm in love with Rachel, and that's the person I want to marry. He served again. So he did that, and it was easier for him to do that because he was serving in another land, in another country that is far away from where he was born. So that's why relocation is very important. If you are the first child of your family and you are not ready to move out of your father's house to go and learn lesson, it's not even about money. When you travel, you learn a lot of lesson. You meet different people, you learn different culture, you learn different tradition, and then you can apply. In fact, you will know how to be very strong and how to be more hardworking. Because if you are in your father's house, because the landlord no landlord will come knock your door, say pay money for house rent. No landlord, because in your father's house, you'll be sleeping, waking up at any time you like. You'll be stretching your body. When you are in a strange land, you have to pay bill for the rent in the house. So you have no excuse to be sleeping till 7 o'clock in the morning. Wati G lati 5:30. Wati G, wati we, wati washo, wati bosso no, ya boji ojimi. That's how hardworking you can be. And your mentality is going to be transformed, because if you're in your father's house, your mom is going to bring food every time you walk, or your mother will cook food, carry and come give you. My friend, come and eat, or my son, come and eat, and you will eat. So it's one of the reasons why you need to give yourself sense and then move out. When you move out, you learn a lot. So some of those things are the better benefits of migrating. When you migrate or you relocate from one place to another, different from where you were originally born, you learn a lot of lesson, you acquire more skills, and you'll be more disciplined and more industrious. So to the host community, the country where you are going to, or the state where you are going to, let me say the country, because I'm talking about immigration. And of course, immigration is different from relocation. Immigration is actually the definition of people moving from one country to another. So the host country where you are migrating to, they are going to have a tax increase, because it has always been on record, and research has proven that immigrants pay the highest tax. They pay more tax when they work. They pay tax to their government, to the government of the country where they have been hosted. And the government will have more money. They have more money in their pockets, because in the public purse, to be able to plan and budget for hospital expansion, Medicaid, road expansion, education, and so many other benefits that they can give other people. So immigrants pay more tax. And then there's always economic development to the country where you go to. Like you have seen, I've told us some of the story about Tesla. The Elon Musk, who is the owner of Tesla, is from South Africa. Is in the United States of America. Is constructing one of the most attractive electric car, and so they are adding value. These guys are adding value to the country. Look at Fox News, for instance. 20th Century Fox News Corporation, who is the owner of Fox News. The owner, which is Robert Machol, is also an Australian-born man who migrated from Australia down to the United States of America, of course. So these are immigrants who are adding value to the system, to the country. So they continue to increase the industrial revolution, like the strengthened industrial revolution of the country. Most times when we have like some industries that need employers who are going to be in the factory and who are going to be like running some little things, no citizens will want to do all of those jobs. No citizens want to do it. It's always immigrants who are doing some of this job. Immigrants are the one working in the factory, doing those mini jobs, sugarcane plantations and all of those things. No citizens want to do it. They feel like we are too big for this. only immigrants want to do it and get the little penny they can make out of those things. So the immigrants help to saturate the labor market, so that at any time when there's an industrial there's a need for employment, there's always people you can employ, both low skills, middle skills, labor. You always find them within the immigrant population. And most immigrants are educated. They are people who are educated, they are very literate, they are very knowledgeable. Let me tell you about the history of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, including Daniel. In the book of Daniel, you see all of those stories. You see that they took them from another place to the king's palace to be trained. And of course, they were good above all the other men. The Bible says they were 10 times better. 10 times better. The same thing applies to immigrants. When you migrate from one place to another, you are going to be 10 times better than the citizen of those countries. Why? Because you are going to respect the law. You are going to always be pursuing your goal. You always want to go for yourself. You want an advancement. You want to do good things for yourself, and you want to contribute to better the society where you are going to. So these are some of the reasons why countries like Canada, United States, UK, other countries that are advanced and developed really want immigrants to come, because they want immigrants to come add value to their country, pay more taxes when they work, and help them in doing some of those things. So house cleaning job. Immigrants are the one doing house cleaning job in America. Even in the UK, they are the one doing house cleaning. They are the one taking care of old people, doing, dirty jobs that citizens wouldn't want to do. So as a result of that, you should understand that immigration is a very important thing that we need to look at. So now back to your own country. When you migrate, for instance, when you migrate, there's going to be a reduction in unemployment in your country. Why did I say that? Maybe there are people who finish the school and they're looking for a job, they don't have a job, and they're able to migrate to other country. Because I've seen doctors, lawyers, I've seen engineers, I've seen professionals who have been trained in Nigeria, and they are still roaming about in the labor market because the job is not available for them to do. But they come back, they leave that country, and they go to other country, migrate to other country. Migrating to other country, the number of those people who are roaming about in the labor market have reduced. And so if there were 100 people looking for a job in Nigeria who don't have a job, and 10 of them migrate out of the country, so the remaining people that will be looking for a job in the labor market is going to be 90. So you've helped to reduce the unemployment rate in the country by moving out of that country. So another way they do that is that when they make money, immigrants send money back to their country where they come from, and they help to, a lot of them also help to develop small scale industry. They go back. I've seen stories about people who go back to Africa, go back to the country where they come from, and they start small scale industry or small scale business. They start employing people to also take unemployed young people out of the labor market, give them job. I've seen people going back to Nigeria, going back to Ghana, setting up restaurants, setting up hotel, setting up real estate business, setting up so many other interior decorations, doing importing and exporting of goods and services and all of those things, and they are helping to create employment to the market. So back to your country, you are going to be helping to reduce poverty, because as you are also moving, you are reducing poverty, and when you are helping to support your immediate family who are back in the country, you are also helping to reduce poverty. Because we've seen how some people there's no food. Every time they complain, no food, nothing. Let's imagine that you don't even have any family out of the country, and everybody is complaining like that. Whatever you see is what you are going to eat. You cannot die. So it's a blessing that you have one or two persons who have helped to migrate out of the country from your family, because they can actually help to support the family. But that doesn't mean you should slaughter their neck. It doesn't mean you should slaughter them. So they set up. So these are some of the benefits. Immigration, when you migrate, it's beneficial to yourself. It's beneficial to the country you are going to. It also have a long time benefit to the country you are coming from. So these are some of the things we need to understand. And these are some of the reasons why you shouldn't be afraid of migrating to anywhere. And I will tell you, I'm going to conclude this talk by advising people who are in their father's house, in their grandfather's house, who refuse to leave. Àwọn tó gbójúlógún, àwọn àgbà Yorùbá ní agbójúlógún ó fi rẹ̀ fóṣìta ni. Àwọn Yorùbá dẹ̀ ní ohun tí a kò bá jìyà fún kì í lè tọ́jọ́, ohun tá a bá fara ṣiṣẹ́ fún ló ń pẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹni. Apálára ìgúnpá ni iyè kan. Báyé bá rí ọ lónìí, bọ́n bá yẹ ọ sí, á jẹ́ kó dáa fún ẹni. Jẹ́ kó di lọ́la tí ò bá sí nǹkan lọ́wọ́ ẹ mọ́ tó ti di fẹ́rẹ́fẹ́, wọ́n á máa yín mú sí ẹ. So that's why you have to work hard. Apálára ìgúnpá báyìí ni iyè kan. Ẹni táyé bá fẹ́ òun láyé máa ń yẹ sí. So if you sit back in your father's house and you think of tí n bá kúrò nílé bàbá mi yìí wọ́n máa ta lé ìyàbí wọ́n máa jogún ẹ̀, why not go and hustle for yourself and build your own house? Go hustle for yourself and build your own house, better house. Tí bàbá ẹ̀ ò bá ṣiṣẹ́, and if you look at the history of your family, some people, your father also relocated back from his birth village to go and hustle and work hard. Ló fi rówó tó fi kọ́lé tó ń wò ní Ìdúmọ̀tà yẹn. Gbogbo létí àwọn bàbá ẹ̀ àti ìyá dádì ẹ̀ tó ń kọ́ sí Ìdúmọ̀tà, ilé yín tó wà lápọ́gbọ̀n, ilé tó ń jogún fún yín yẹn, ìyá àti bàbá ẹ̀ wọ́n relocate, wọ́n jìyà láti Ọ̀ṣun, ìmí ìgbé apẹ̀rẹ̀ látòṣogbo, ẹsẹ̀ lẹ́lòmíì fi rìn láti Ìbàdàn tó fi wá sílùú Èkó kó tó di pé ó ṣe alábàárù lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ní Ìdúmọ̀tà, tó ṣe alábàárù lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lọ́jà ọba títí kó tó di pé bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń taṣọ, kó tó wọ́ọ̀sù, kó tó rówó ralẹ̀, kó tó kọ́lé, tí wọ́n wá jogún lé ní tó jòkó síbẹ̀ tó lóòní lọ síbi kankan. If you are not ready to move, you cannot be greater than where you are. You are just going to be in that same position. So why not move out, go and hustle? Because when you go and hustle, you learn a lot. There's a song in Igbo that there's one song that they sing like landlord travel and see. So landlord travel and see. When you travel, you learn. In landlord then have more tenants. To ba sanwó lé ma lé ẹ jáde ni, ilé ò ṣe gbé ni. Because a lot of these tenants also have family's house, but they left it and they relocated back to Lagos or to any country where they want to hustle and also be able to make impact. So look at, yesterday I went to see my auntie in Boston, and this my auntie that I went to see, both my auntie and her husband, they are from responsible family. Ilé rere ló ti jáde. Àwọn ọmọ onílé ọlọ́nà ni. Bàbá àwọn àti ìyá wọn ló ń control ìlú. Wọ́n nílé rẹpẹtẹ tí ò ṣe ká. Orúkọ bàbá wọn ó jẹ́ very popular name. You understand what I'm trying to say? But they didn't sit there. Wọ́n jókòó pé àwọn fẹ́ máa jórúkọ orúkọ family house yẹn òun làwọn fẹ́ tẹ̀bàtì kó lè dá nǹkan kan ò lè fi gbowó bank má jẹ́ ntọ́ yẹn. They left and move out to go and hustle, to go and struggle and become somebody. So until you are able to move out, struggle and hustle and become somebody, then that is when your story can be interesting. So migration is very important, and you should be ready if you're ready. You should be determined if you're ready. Okay? So I am going to conclude by saying that people shouldn't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of taking a change. 2021 is a new year and it's fast approaching, but it's a year you need to think about what to do. Look at, I have some of my friends who have relocated out of Nigeria and they are in another country. They are doing well, hustling, struggling to add value to their family, to improve the name of the family and make their family proud. Thank you so much, my brother from UK, Pastor Kunle Omoshen. I really appreciate you and every other person who is online. We talk about the benefits. If you want to join me, you can be part of this discussion. Let's talk about why should people relocate and the importance of relocating. So I want to invite Kunle Omoshen. If you are not at work, you can join me. You want me to call you and bring you up? Okay. So I'm bringing you up so that we can be part of this discussion. Let's have this discussion with my brother. Let's have your say on this immigration. Where will I bring my brother? Yes, thank you so much. Hold on, guys. I'm bringing. Oh my God. He has removed his ad. Oh, I cannot hide him. This is serious. Okay, yes. So, like I said, my I went to see my auntie yesterday. She's a very nice person. She's very supportive, very hardworking. Even back in Nigeria, when she was in Nigeria, in Lagos, she's very hardworking. The husband too is very hardworking. They are not lazy, and they are not even believing or trusting that they have property. Baba wọn nílé, ìyá wọn nílé, wọn lógún, wọn ní gbogbo nǹkan rẹpẹtẹ. Anything tó bá fẹ́, wọn lè tàka gbà, wọn lè tàka rí. But they are like, no, ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣọ́ra wa nù, ká lọ ríra wa he. And today, they can even build more houses than what they are supposed to inherit. Ohun tó lè jogún, ohun táwọn fúnra wọn ti fi ọwọ́ ara wọn ṣe, ó pọ̀ ju ohun tí wọ́n lè jogún lọ. So agbójúlógún máa ń fi ra ìfóṣìta ni. So why are you afraid of moving out? And you are just there, sitting down there, you don't want to go out. You have to. If you are not ready to move out, you are not ready to change. I know a lot of us, some of us who are in Ijorabadia, I'm especially going to be talking to some of us in Ijorabadia. Before the demolition, we have a lot of issues with the community. This community is a community where you don't have access to a public toilet system, is zero. Health and road network is poor. Healthcare access is zero. Everybody is struggling within this community. If there's an epidemic outbreak in that community, half of the community is going to be wiped out because the sanitation is very poor. Especially on our streets, in Bale Street, it's a terrible place. But when they started demolishing the house around the Ijora railway line, Ajoromi, people refuse to leave. There are friends that I know that refuse to leave those places, and they were like, there, no matter anything to happen, I know that it's hard to move, and sometimes we're asking, but just give a try. Just give it a try. When Abraham listened to God's commandment, God said, leave your father's country. He wasn't questioning where am I going to go or how am I going to eat, how am I going to survive. He even decided to live with his wife, his cousin, and all the things, his slaves, everything he had. He left his father's house. His father's house where he's being celebrated like a king. He eats anyhow, anything, anytime he wants. He left all those things and he had to sojourn till he got to the promised land. So, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Be ready to be determined and then move. When you move, you change a lot of things for yourself. Thank you, Glory Adeyemi, Omoba Prince Glory. I really appreciate you, my brother. So when you move out, you need to be able to change a lot of things, and a lot of things will happen. So I've told us about the Oduduwa who migrated. Look at today. We have one king in Ilaje, Obat Akirunton, who is the Olugbo of Ugbo. So Obat actually left Ilaje. He was selling kerosene with a boat with his father, his mom, and Loriomi. He left Ilaje and come to Lagos, first to Ibadan, then to Lagos to hustle and expand his oil business. Then he had to borrow money from the bank to buy a space to have his own first filling station. That was how he started. And today he's one of the richest king in Africa, like the second richest monarch in Africa. Second richest monarch in Africa. He is in billions of dollars. How did he do it? He left his father's kingdom. He left out. So, like Orinta Olaje man ko, Opo ile wule manu se o Ilaje, mama jagbagbe wule orin yen is not for those who are still in the house. Kì í ṣe fáwọn tó wà nílé o, àwọn tó jáde tó lọ hustle lọ sọ fún pé kó má gbàgbé ilé kán lè padà wá. Kì í ṣe ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé because ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé ready láti move lọ anywhere. So immigration is something that you shouldn't be afraid of. But as I'm saying this, I'm not encouraging anybody to migrate through Libya by road. I'm not encouraging people to walk through the Mediterranean, the desert, and I'm not encouraging anybody to go and swim over the Mediterranean Sea. People that pass through those places, a lot of them have died. Many of them they are not even alive to come and tell the stories of how horrible those journeys are. So don't do anything illegal. If you want to move, you want to travel, do not do it illegally. If you go by road, you go by... I saw some of the girls who travel, and when my promise, Magbe in Los Libya, Magbe in Los Europe, Libya, you end up being a prostitute. They force you into prostitution, and they will extort you, and then they will traffic you as if you are animals. So that's what people do when they come and promise you, especially I want a family, want a bawanton. So you have to think twice and work hard and be focused. I'm going to tell the story of one of my mother's cousin. This man is late now, so he was the first to travel to Canada in the history of my mom's family. So when he traveled down to Canada, in less than 2 years, he came back to Nigeria and supported one person from the family, and then they became two. And then in another 2 years, both of them came back and took one person each, and they moved those cousins of siblings to Canada. They became four, and these four people, in another 3 years, the four of them also supported another four people, and they became eight, and with their wife and their family. That's how they became so many of them in Canada. So Igi Konkindagboshi, if you are in a position to help your family, please go ahead and do it. If you are in a position to support one of your brother or one of your sister to travel, to move, and become a better person, please do it. It's very important, and I'm not scared to say this because I know Nigeria is the country with the highest number of extremely poor people in the world. Over 12.1% of extremely poor people who live below $1.91 lives in Nigeria, and that is totally unacceptable. And it's one of the reasons why it's becoming a survival of the fittest. I've seen some of the Osfa Novib adverts online where they were interviewing people in Niger State who hardly have something to eat for a day. A day. Why? A lot of them are scared even to go to the farm because Fulani herdsmen will come and terrorize them and kill them. A lot of them are afraid to go and farm or do anything. They would rather stay in their house and die of hunger than to be slaughtered like a goat. So, if you can support your family, please do. Even if it is in every way you need to, please do. But I also tell you that traveling abroad is not about you going to pray. Because I know some people that will end up praying. Instead of you to go and work hard, save money. Save money for your ticket. Save money for anything you need. You will be spending your time in the church, praying and fasting. God will not come down from heaven to come and pay your flight tickets. You need to work hard and save money. Even the book of Proverbs said you need to work hard and earn money. So it's not about you pray, God they answer prayer, but you don't submit your passport in the altar and put it in the altar for pastor to be putting anointing oil on it while you are in the house or you are there in the church clapping hands and doing VG instead of you to go and look for a job and work and save money. So we need to be wise. Those are some of the tips I really want to give people because I know people know how to be more spiritual around these things. We know how to be more spiritual. Let me give you another gist. There's somebody that had a visa. You know, the guy had a visa. He wanted to travel. So he went home and told his family that he got a visa. He's going to travel. And the visa he got was 3 months visa. I think it's one of the Schengen countries. He had a 3-month visa. So the visa is going to expire in less than in 3 months. So he was now trying to save money for his flight ticket. So he's been able to save some money, but not all of the money. In about 2 months that he saved that money, Okundiye like 50,000 for him to complete the money for his flight ticket. That is when the mother started falling sick. The mother started falling sick. They carried this woman everywhere. The woman refused to recover. So this boy had to put hand into his flight tickets money to go and pay hospital bill, pay for treatment before the mother recovered. And immediately he finished spending all the money, the mother recovered. And then he went back to square one, visa expires. He started running again, struggling again. He got the money. He did another visa, they gave him again. And then he still went to the family and told the family that he's traveling, and they should put him in prayers and all that. And the whole family is like prayer warrior. We are praying. Then he started looking for money for flights. Immediately he started getting the money. It was just about a week for the money to be complete. Then they called him again that the mother is sick. Iyato are very important. There's nothing he can do. He started crying. What is he going to do? Everybody in the family, nobody has any money, no dime. He's the only one that has money, and that money is in his savings, and it was supposed to be for his flight ticket to migrate to another country. so he can hustle and make the family a better family. But he had to put hand into the money so that he can save his mother. After I finished spending the money, the whole of the money, the mother was well. And then the third time, he got a visa again. And then he called me and said he needs prayer. He needs me to pray for him. He thinks he has a spiritual problem. When he narrated all of this, I said, you don't need prayer. You just need to shut your mouth up. You need to shut your fucking mouth up. That's what you need. You don't need prayers. When you get your visa, don't tell anybody you got a visa. You don't need to tell them. Why are you telling them? You don't need to. Ayegbege. Save your money. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell them anything. Buy your ticket. Don't tell them nothing. Even when you are ready to travel, travel. When you get there, you can call their number. Do you know what? That was the magic. That was the magic. We didn't pray. I didn't have time to waste my time. I can't waste my energy and my saliva. Instead of me to waste my saliva and my time, when you know that there are some practical, technical skills you need to take. So don't mix it up with spiritual affair. Yes, there could be spiritual affair, there could be a spiritual warfare or battle and all of that, but one practical step he needs to take is to shut his mouth up. So if he can keep his mouth shut, things will work out fine. So he got the visa, he never told nobody. The family, everybody, they started saying, we are praying for you. He said, keep praying. We are praying for you. He said, yes, Magbadura. Kamagbadura, Lambo, Wadara. He never told them nothing. Then he started saving money. And then he got money and he bought his ticket. He called me and he said, and he bought the ticket now. He wants to go so you don't have to go tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. And then that was how he left. Till he traveled and landed in the country where he was going. His mother never fall sick. I'm not saying the mother has a winch or the mother has a strange spirit or anything. They could use the mother as a barrier for his success. They could make the mother become an obstacle. I'm not saying the mother has anything, but anything can happen. It could be somebody you love so much, so dear to your heart, that you would think of that person and remove from the money you are supposed to use to be successful. It's because your mouth, you talk so much. So he landed, and when he landed, he called the mom. The mom was surprised, but the mother never was sick. Nobody was sick anymore. Till today now, the mother is still alive. So that's a big lesson for anybody who wants to make a plan. You need to learn how to keep your mouth shut, because sometimes some obstacles could happen. Some of them may not be spiritual. They could be coincident. I'm not really going to say it's just spiritual, but of course, we know that if Ephesians chapter 6 already said it, we wrestle not against blood and flesh, but against principalities and high ruler of darkness. So those are the people we're wrestling with. So you need to as well keep your mouth to yourself. But I'm not saying you should keep short when you are trading with an individuals who are 419, because there are a lot of travel agents who are scammers. They'll tell you, bring 500,000, I will do American visa for you. They are scammer. They are not the one giving you visa. When you pay that money, the money is gone. If they don't give you visa, you know if you collect the money. And sometimes they tell you, don't tell nobody. Don't tell anybody. Anybody telling you, don't tell nobody. You should just know that you've entered 419. As Nigerians, I'm not even expecting Nigerians to be so dumb and so, I don't know how to put it. I don't expect Nigerians to be so gullible that will fall in the hands of another Nigerians who are going to be 419, who will trap us. So don't let anybody to trap you. Learn from people who have wisdom. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate DFB Bold. I appreciate everyone. If you want to come online, join me in this discussion. Let's share about your experience. We can talk about some of those things so that people can learn. I can bring you online. I can invite you over to talk about this. Let me see somebody I can bring. Anybody I want to come online, you can wave me. I know my auntie is online. Thank you so very much, auntie. More blessing to you. And my pleasure meeting you again on social media. Thank you so much, Akimboye Sheon. I really appreciate you. So, Pato, yes, I appreciate you. And Aide, thank you so much. So if you like the content of the talk, you can actually share with people. You can share with friends and family. Maybe it's going to be adding value or helping one or two person. A lot of people are too afraid. They are too scared of moving. Don't be scared. God is going to perfect your way and is going to be there before you. God is going to go ahead of you because God went ahead of Abraham. God went ahead of Abraham before he got to Canaan land. God just said, move out of your father's country, leave. And then he left. And God told even the Israelite, Jacob, when he was moving, all of them, when they were moving, God was actually ahead of them. So you don't need to be afraid. When Israel was moving to Canaan land, God already told them, he made a promise with them that anywhere you go, the land, I'm going to take that possession of the land. And God is actually taking possession of the land. Look at Nigerians who are traveling everywhere, they are very hardworking, except those who are stupid. So if you move out of your country to another country and you are not helping yourself, you are not successful, you are not progressive, you are very stupid and dumb-headed. Because for me, the Nigerians I have seen, in fact, even since I relocated here, the Nigerians I've seen here in United States of America, they are very hardworking people. They are people who hustle every day to be somebody. I'm always proud of them. When I see every Nigerians, I'm always proud of them. Even my family, my friends, all of them, I'm always proud of them because they are doing wonderfully well. They are very hardworking and they are not lazy people. So when you travel and you become so lazy and you start behaving like the citizens of those countries, then you are a madman. When I was in South Africa, in Joburg, I saw some Nigerians in Joburg who were moving on the streets, roaming about, selling weed. And I was like, why would these people be behaving like this? They were selling weed, they were moving, behaving. Hello? Do you want to contribute? Hello? Do you want to contribute to the talk show? No, 42. Huh? 42. UK 42. I think USI should be 8 or 8.5. 8.5, yes. Yes. So, what I'm saying, so those guys decide behaving like South African people. Like they feel like it's their land, they can be selling weed. If you are selling weed, go sell weed in Bini or go to Sapele Road or Ijorabade and go sell weed. Why will you travel out of your father's country and you are going to sell weed in another country? That's madness. Because once you are arrested, you could go to jail and you could spend the rest of your life in the jail, in the prison. So everything you've suffered for or everything you've dreamed to become in your life is going to be a mirage. And then your family, who are expecting so much from you, they will be expectant that you will ever come back, but you will never come back. And they wouldn't know why. That's why you see a lot of people who have gone to abroad, 20 years, 30 years, they still never come back to their country because they've messed up themselves. And they are not aligned themselves to, they are not having the pain. I think sometimes that's why internet is very important. For me, I love listening to local news, Nigerian news channels. I go on YouTube, I see the reality of what is happening. Why? I want to abreast myself with the pain that my people are passing through. I want to be in touch with the reality. Even if I'm in an environment where there's constant electricity supply, I want to know the pain of darkness. Even when I have access to water, I want to know the taste of people who are in need of water, who don't have access to water in Nigeria. Even when I have food to eat, I want to feel the pain of my family members who lack access to eat. So that's why I always go on YouTube. I always go on news, on local news. I always see what is happening in the country. And those things help me to stimulate my mind, my body, to become a functional human being. Because some people, when they come to United States or UK or Canada or anywhere, they just lock themselves out of Facebook. They don't want to get in touch with anybody on Facebook. They don't want to see any of their... Why are you doing that? Facebook. Even when people beg you for money, if you get, you give them. If you don't get, nobody can arrest you. So why are you running away from people? I don't want to be people, so I don't want people to talk to me. I don't know, bullshit. But I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that they have right to their... I mean, everybody has a fundamental human right to be on any social media or not to be. But the point is, when you are connected to the people, you see the pain the people are passing through, and that will not make you lazy. Well, I've seen people here in America and they are so lazy, like they won't look for job, they won't go look for job, they are just as lazy as. It's different if you have health challenge that couldn't make you to work. Different. But why would people be lazy? Hello, share and make your family proud. That is what we need to do. And I really appreciate everyone that have been online. I appreciate my family members, my aunt, my sisters, my brothers, everybody that is joining me from UK, from Canada, from Boston. I really appreciate you from Nigeria, all my friends and family who are online. I appreciate you, and you have been part of my inspiration. You are a wonderful role model to me, and we will continue to speak to Sorosoke, not only to the government, but of course to ourselves, because we also need to help ourselves with the reality of things that is happening. And God will continue to bless us. If you like the content of the video, please try and share this video if you like the content. Julius Olayinka is online. If you want to join, if you want to contribute, let me invite you so that you can say one or two things to the issue at hand. Before I round off, Bod, can I invite you? Okay, so thank you so very much. I'm going to conclude this show right away with Babara. Olusegun Aroja Olusegun wá gbé mi níjà o, ọ̀tá ló yí mi ká o. Ló dàbí rẹ̀ tí ń gba tálákà lọ́wọ́ ẹni tó lágbára jù lọ o. Àwọn tálákà táláìní lọ́wọ́ ẹni tó fi ṣe ìkógun. Àwọn ẹlẹ́rìí èké dìde sí mi. Okay, so thank you so very much, Babara, and thank you, Julius Olayinka Okeya, for joining me. If you like the content, please share it with friends and family. We could be helping people. Some of our friends that are afraid, those who are scared of how to move, those who are scared of moving with their family, those who are scared of where they are going to stay, what they are going to eat, how they are going to get a job. Don't be scared, because Abraham never wasn't afraid. And the thing he did was to move. And when he moved, God fulfilled the destiny and the promises, the covenant he had with Abraham. He became father of multiple nations. So the same thing, if you are not afraid, you can definitely live. You can definitely live. You can definitely move. Even moving from one state to the other, moving from one street to the other, moving from one family house, going to be on your own could be the beginning of a great step to your success. Don't just let yourself be tied down in the shackles and bondage of perpetual traditional and cultural beliefs that akobiomo onkuronle. Nobody says that. It's not. I mean, I don't know where that story or myth. For me, it's a myth. So guys, let's do it. I'm going to join you again, probably before the new year. And hopefully, if we cannot meet, I'm going to say Happy New Year in advance to every one of you. Enjoy yourself. Be careful when you celebrate. COVID-19 is still relevant, is still very much around. Observe social distance. Use your face mask and give 6 feet to each other. And do not go to a crowded event or places where you can be vulnerable to COVID-19. We'll continue to Sorosoke on this platform. We'll continue to help and support each other. And let's see, somebody want to come online. David is coming online. Let's hear one from David. David, I'm adding you right away. You are coming online. Taiwo Patuola Senior, thank you very much for coming online. And I Mimbo, thank you. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening. So where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Owerri.
Owerri, that's a beautiful place. I love Owerri.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love Owerri. I've been there. I've been to High Heaven. Is it High Heaven or New Heaven? It's New Heaven, right?
Owerri now.
Okay, Owerri, not Enugu. Owerri. That's in
Enugu
Imo
is
State.
New Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Imo.
Okay, yes. Yes, I've been to Owerri as well. I don't just know much places in Owerri, aside from when you are going to Port Harcourt. You know, sometimes when you're going to Port Harcourt, you navigate through the this
Okay,
Catholic
yes,
church.
true control.
Yes, control.
Yeah, at Sumter
Yes,
Cathedral.
yes.
Yeah.
So, what contribution do you have to the issue of migration and the fear that people have generally? You know, people are always scared of moving out or relocating, but I think for Igbo people, you guys are not scared of moving anywhere. You know.
I think
Yes.
I think for us, migration is not a case because we can survive anywhere. So that's basically wherever you think you can make greener pasture. That is
Yeah.
what is paramount and important. You understand? So that's why for us down in the east, it's not a problem.
Yeah, because you see, when I went to the north, especially in Kano, I saw a lot of Igbos. You know, in Kano,
the line is breaking now.
There are places where you see Igbo people in Kano and even in Kaduna, but specifically in Kano, there's this place you see a lot of Igbo people, you know, and you
They
have
call it
Benin
Sabon
streets.
Geri.
Yeah, Sabongeri. So now I just feel like despite all of the challenges we have, the religious differences, the communal, the language barriers and all of that, you still have a lot of Igbos who are not afraid to invest and also move with their family down to the north. Despite there's the insecurity challenge, they still continue to migrate or relocate and continue to invest and do their business. Why is that happening?
Yes, I think for the Igbos, we just...
Yes, that's Nigerian network. Yes. Nigeria network. What is happening?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you now.
Okay. I said we have this in our culture that what is important for you is to survive. And you know, like when you move out, during festive period, everybody wants to come back and show off. You understand? So everybody wants to look for where it's going to be easier. And now it's them leaving those areas. They must have invested a whole lot. Some of them are landlords, you know, they've got a lot of buildings and all that. So telling them now to leave those buildings and run away is just like they want to see until the trigger.
Yes.
Is fired before they now know that okay, this is really time to run. So we don't really think risk is just a normal thing for us. It's just part of life. So
I think that's the most important point. Like for me, it's going to be my take home from this discussion. The risk. When you are able to take risk, then you are not afraid of success. Because a lot of people who are afraid of being successful are always afraid of taking a risk. Now, there's another thing I see with Igbo culture or the Igbo people. They actually work under people. Like they don't want to work to be collecting salary. No matter how educated an Igbo man is, they want to be independent. They want to create their own industry. They want to start their own business. You know?
Yeah.
Do you have that as well in your family? That culture of not being a civil servant?
Okay, not exactly, but I know for us because my grandfather was a retired priest in the missionary. So education was a value for us in the family. So that's for us. Education is value for us. But it doesn't mean that some of my cousins, you know, you have some of my cousins still that also do not want to work for anybody. You understand? But even at that point, they will always advise that probably you're done with your secondary school, you have WAEG, so probably you now get something you still want to further. You can be doing this and doing that, but not. It's where you can find that more is in Anambra, you know, where they do
Yeah.
boy, that kind of a thing. You know, you go to serve somebody for 20 years, 25 years, and all of that.
20
So
years?
it's not.
No. No. Okay, so thank you so very much for coming online. I really appreciate you and I appreciate your contribution. And if you enjoyed the discussion, you can share with your friends and your family. And we're going to be having more talk around it. But again, I want to ask about Igbo girls. Most Igbo girls, I see that they hardly get married to people outside. And apart from the fact that the bride price is expensive, the bride price is expensive. So what is the difference now? What is really happening now with Igbo girls?
Again, I don't really get. I don't
Okay,
really get
so
the question.
I just want to know that, you know, the migration thing, like in
Okay.
Igbo land, a lot of men, they are the one taking the lead, moving out, traveling here and there,
Yeah.
but the girls
Yeah.
still remain. Yeah. So do you have more girls now that travel? Because in Benin, um, in
Okay.
Benin, we have our ladies are the one leading the way to travel. Our
Yes,
ladies from
exactly.
the family, they will be the first to travel out of the country, and then the boys will be back home. You know, it's now that our boys are also thinking of moving out and traveling.
Yeah,
But
moving
in
on.
Igbo, the boys are the one taking the lead in traveling. So what do you how do you see immigration now for Igbo girls?
Yeah. Still, the guys are still the ones migrating more now
Okay.
because now, cultural wise, they believe that women are supposed to be probably poised or they're supposed to be calm, they're supposed to be reserved, and all of that. So they feel that they just have to be beautiful, they have to know how to do the chores, and you know, get homely, that a man will come pick them up. So they believe that the men should go hustle. That's for the Igbo culture. So you don't see most of our girls, except some of them that are in schools and probably peers now that
Yeah.
are influencing them. You understand? So they now tend to travel out and all of that. So, but I think you'll find Igbo girls also traveling. That's like the new trend or development they are following. You understand? So, but
Mostly for
before
education.
now,
Mostly for
huh?
education. Mostly for education.
Exactly. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So before now, it used to be very difficult. A girl that's living in the city is usually seen as a bad girl. Do you understand? Except you're in
If
the
she's not
village,
married.
that's the one that is reserved. You see. So if Obi wants to get married now, the mom will say, "Go back to the village and go and marry Ada. She's reserved.
Yes.
Leave the
Yes.
one in the city." But that's
Yes. Okay. So Nigerian network is terrible now. We cannot connect with. Okay.
hello.
So thank you so very much. Um, do have a wonderful New Year celebration and remember to be safe. Okay. Bye. Okay. So the network has really be an issue, but I think he has really made a valid point. And some of the point he has made is the fact that Igbo girls still remains like a lot of them are not traveling the way you see Bini girls traveling. And their boys, the Igbo boys are the one traveling, migrating everywhere. There's no country in the world where human beings live that you'll not find an Igbo man. They can go anywhere and they can do business anywhere. They can survive under any condition, under any weather. So with that, I really appreciate and I'm proud of my Nigerian brothers, the Igbo boys. And the girls too, you have an independent mind of your own, you know, make your decision. Um, Continue to consider the betterment of yourself, your advancement, your self-dignity. Continue to consider that you have a fundamental human right to be free. Continue to consider the fact that as a human, as a girl or as a lady or the girl child, you still have the freedom and the self-actualization to be yourself, to be who you want to be and achieve anything you want to achieve. Thank you so very much, guys, and I'll see you again. God bless you, and bye.